Alright, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to I'm gonna fucking stare at you dead in the eye. And you can do nothing about it. How is everyone doing tonight? We are back after the dev stream, which actually had a good amount of stuff in it. Well, I don't know if it's, I would say a good amount of stuff, but I think that there was like a decent chunk of things that we can get our teeth into. No, notably, I actually have not watched this dev stream. I basically just read the summaries. But I did get all of the important information out of it, I believe. The only thing that I didn't quite look too much into is Sirius and Orion's kit. That's the one thing that I did not look too deep into. I do know that they are Equinox-esque. That they are a swap-in warframe. They are two warframes that you swap between, so. Equinox found dead in a ditch, as some people have said. Which is very unfortunate. What do we actually have? We have Tiburon, that's not a bad one. We have the Cycron, and we have the Nikana. So we've got like the most middle of the road basic bitch loadout. I'm a fan of the Tiburon though. I think it looks very clean. That stream really erased Equinox from the game. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Unfortunately. Although I'm sure we'll probably get an actual Equinox rework sometime in the future. I can only imagine. Like, I don't think they're that mean, so to speak. I don't know if mean's the right word, but Dex, Nikana, do I even have a functional build for this? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is just like the most sloppy toppy bullshit. Uh, what if I just did this instead because I don't fucking care? Seriously, Ryan makes me look forward to the. Yeah, no, I feel like they could do a lot with Equinox's rework. Like I said, the one thing I'm a little bit scared of if they do rework Equinox is that they're going to touch MAME. MAME is not something I want them to mess with. Unfortunately, I really do like MAME as it is. I think it is a fine ability. I think it is fine with the current power level of the game. I mean, it always was. It's been around in its current incarnation since the dawn of man, essentially. And it's only aged like wine. Unlike the rest of Equinox's kit. Nothing else I need to be worried about. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, does not matter! Alright, we are good to go. Although, before we get into this, I need to refill my water. I'm a fucking mess today, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now we're good. So for context, the reason why my phone is dead, it's not dead, it's just it's out of battery, right? And it has to recharge properly. I'm using an old iPhone for my face tracking. And old iPhone means that the battery does not hold a charge very well. So something I always have to make sure that I do is shut it off after every stream. Right? Every stream I have to shut it off, or the battery will just be gone, right? There we go. Yeah, if I don't shut it off, the battery will just vanish. Because of how old the phone is. It's gotta be like... I don't even know how old it is anymore. Just know that it is ancient. Ancient, ancient, ancient. I have to just be very mindful of it. Remote. Little remote for my and we are a mess today. I've been out of the house today and yesterday for the most part. So it's just been kind of hectic. Turn off here somewhere. Eventually. Is how has everyone's week been? And what has everyone thought about the Devstream themselves? Well, I fix my shit together here. There we go. Now I'm good to go, I think. Bit of that shit. Think I'm solo? Damn it, I am not. God damn it. Probably means I need to restart the queue because, weirdly enough, even if you switch it in between, you kind of have to do this again so that it registers that you're queuing with this. I do really like the Tiburon Prime, actually. It's a very chunky rifle. And the semi-auto has basically become a fully automatic ever since the trigger changes, which has been really nice. I'm very much a fan of the way that they've changed the triggers. Because it just makes a lot of these semi-burst full auto weapons feel a lot better. I think Tiburon is one of the biggest benefactors of it. Anyways, the dev stream, right? I said we have Sirius and Orion, and that's a whole thing. But the other interesting pieces that we got were 2 augments that we saw, 2 that we didn't see, that were confirmed. We saw 2 arcanes, which were interesting. Both of them were really weird. The first one, I don't remember their names, but the first one is like, oh, if you create an object, 175 locked ability efficiency, right? Which is really interesting. I'm trying to think how you would, like, abuse that. Because I think one of the biggest benefits of something like that is that you can really dip into negative ability efficiency and just not fucking care with, like, blind rage and whatnot. And then you slap that on and it completely negates all of that, essentially, because it's not, like, added. The key part of it is that it's not an added, like, 175. No, it is locking your efficiency to 175, which is the cap. So that means no matter what your current efficiency is, it goes to 175. And I think that has some interesting implications. But the thing is, I feel like the Warframes who would appreciate something like that are not Warframes who have an ability that can trigger it. I think one of the biggest ones is, it's obviously Folly, right? It's fucking Folly. Folly is the one that is kind of intended for this, I would imagine. Because fuck it, you know. Like, oh, creating objects. Yeah, that's the one. It's the same way that Universal Fallout is like, this is clearly meant for Corvex. And, like, you can technically use it on other frames, but, like, this is for Corvex. That's what this new efficiency arcane feels like. Although, speaking of, I actually do think, outside of Folly, I think the other use case might be Corvex. I think he can use that. I think him and Frost, actually, are both very privy to using that, probably. Because Frost wants to spam abilities. So that's... he's perfectly A-okay with doing that. And then Corvex, I'm pretty sure his pillars count as a created object, whatever the fuck bullshit that means. That's gonna be one of those terminologies that's like, yeah, just because DE said so, you know. It's one of those things that's like, the rules are arbitrary and made up, and it doesn't matter. It's like, who fucking cares? The rules are made up, shit doesn't matter, whoop-de-doo. Corvex and Frost are probably going to be the 2 biggest users of that, outside of the intended Folly use case. Because that just feels like that's the whole reason that it's there is for Folly. Even though I don't even know if Folly needs efficiency that badly. That one seems kind of weird. I feel like her energy economy isn't that bad. I don't know. And then we have the other one, which is basically it reduces your so this is for AoE weapons. It reduces the AoE of AoE weapons by 80%, I think is the number. And then it gives you damage and ammo efficiency based on the amount of range lost, which is interesting. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the frames that could use it already have better arcanes, and the frames that want it don't have an ability that works. So it's kind of like, who is this for exactly? You know? Like genuinely, who is it for? Yeah, like I said, we just got concentration too, which is a much more generic and usable arcane. So it really does beg the question. Like why are we using it? But like I said, the other one, like I said, I don't remember the names of this one, but the AoE one is actually a very interesting. It's one of those things where I would really need to see, how it really looks numerically in order for me to want to use it. One thing that immediately came to mind for me that I would be very interested in using it with, is the Tonkor. The Tonkor is one... Oh, that does sound very exploitable, doesn't it? Oh god, oh Jesus. That sounds diabolical. Oh my god. My other small problem with it is that I really wish it was, I really wish it was also, there's a secondary version of it too, that'd be really nice. Yeah, there's no way it would benefit the Torrid in some way. Like, there's no way, right? Like, that's so much damage that you're giving it. But no, like I said, I think the Tonkor is the one in my head that I would consider using it the most for. Because being able to, like, basically Devilman pill shot people sounds really fun. Just hit them with pills for like 1,000,000 damage. Just thump, boom, and like super good direct damage. The other one though, the one now that I'm thinking of it though, there is one weapon that I think is really, really going to benefit from this. And that is the Tombfinger Primary. I think that weapon is going to get so much value out of this. Like, simply tap firing it would turn it into a very competent semi-auto, basically. That just has an unlimited clip, essentially. Ow, my eyes. I'm trying to think, but yeah, no, Tombfinger primary sounds like it would benefit a lot from this weapon. For this arcane, rather. So that will be an interesting test point. I think, like, what else would really want this? I feel like the Chakur, like, in theory, could use it, but I don't think it has enough AoE to actually warrant using it. Is the thing. I wish ammo efficiency was something you could put modded into a stat. Like, I genuinely think that if there was a mod that just said, ammo efficiency, I think that by itself would warrant, a mod slot. Like, if it was just, like, plus 20% ammo efficiency, I would unironically think that that is worth a mod slot in and of itself. That is something I would like to see in the future. Why are we all the way over here? I know people talked about the Brahma for this arcane as well. I was never a fan of the Brahma either way, so I that's one I don't really care about. Like, I was playing during the heyday of the Brahma, but, like, either I never encountered it or I never realized it was that good. Like I felt like the Brahma was so overkilled when they decided to go in and nerf it. This thing needs to die. Yeah, no, people were talking about using it with the Brahma. I feel like the lens could get use out of it. Perchance. We are talking about the new arcane for explosive AoE primaries. Yeah, it got nerfed, like, I think 2 times over, maybe. I don't remember exactly how they handled it. I personally don't have an issue with that. Like, I think that that's just a skill issue at that point. Like, if you can't hit pills in a game where it's so easy to hit pill shots, what are you doing? Like, I gotta hit fucking scouts in TF2 with pills. Like, this shit ain't nothing to me, man. Yeah, that's the thing, is that, that's one thing to consider is alt fires. That has me interested, because if we start to consider alt fires, then stuff like the Corinth is, up for grabs, and that is fascinating. God, can that thing fucking die already? Holy smokes. Yeah, the Kubazar. Yeah, you're right. The Kubazar could be a benefit to that. I forget which one is its primary. Which fire is its primary? If you use the Zar as a shotgun with that, I think that becomes really good. Okay, so yeah, I think the Zar will probably be allowed to use it, and then you use the alt fire as your primary damage dealer instead of the main fire, and then you have a real good time with it. I would hope so anyway. I would hope that it has access to that arcane. Otherwise, what are we even doing here? Like, I guess that's my biggest concern with the arcane is it's like, how liberally will it be distributed? You know? I think Sirius and Orion look very cool. I didn't look at their kit too closely. That's like the one thing I didn't really pay much attention to. I find the way that they switch and their ult being really fucking cool. Like that's definitely some creative points. But yeah, like, run me by their abilities real quick, because that was the one part I didn't really get to read up too much on. Because I didn't get to watch the dev stream since I was out yesterday, or the day before. This heirloom won't be till July, but Dante Deluxe is up. Yeah. Yeah, you can mod both frames. I know that much, is that you can mod the frames separately. That's got that whole thing going on. Switching doesn't take an ability, it's just tap holding their 1. What are their 2 and 3s? That's what I want to know, because I know, isn't there 4 technically the same? Yeah, their 2 and 3s are, like, what I didn't really get. I know basically what their 4 is. Their 4 is just kind of nuclear bomb with, like, aura farming and bullshit. I don't know what their 1 through 3 does, though, on either of them. Saren's Molt on hit? What? What the fuck? Okay, the heat one sounds really interesting. I guess the question is, how does Helminth work here? How the fuck does Helminth work? That's something I'm very curious about. So Zada's Whisper, but for heat, sounds like actually insane, right? Like, that's gotta be crazy. Like that's gotta be crazy, right? Because Zada's Whisper is so good as is. The only thing holding it back is the fact that it's fucking void damage. So if we get that just for heat, like, that sounds crazy. That sounds ridiculous. Three for Sirius is an AoE heal and damage reduction. If an ally dies, it can be revived in the zone every 1 minute. The 3 for Orion is the black hole that pulls enemies and gets more damage and duration each time it kills. The additional initiative heat damage for weapons and ability. I'm sorry, come again? You want to run that one by me? Huh? Come again? On ability damage? You what? So like I said, what the fuck is gonna be their helmet? Okay, they're charge-based. Okay. I was gonna say, that seems a little ridiculous. Just having Heat Zada's Whisper on fucking everything ever, like that. That sounds a little cursed. Four gets yeah. Like I said, I know what the 4 does relatively. I've seen clips of that one. What's their 1 do besides being the switch out? Like I said, do we know what their helmet is at all? Do we know? Because that's something I want to know. Is how does helmet work in any capacity with these frames? Because this is like uncharted territory. He'll slash and strips armor? I see. They avoided talking about Hellman? What do you mean? Yeah, the 1 sounds like the most likely case since it doesn't seem to be attached to their gimmick. And it might be a tap-hold. It's probably going to be a tap-hold for which one works. Like, that sounds like the safest, bet going on there. Because if it is so, chat, hear me out. Hear me out. Consider the following, right? If 1 is the helmet, and 1 does, like, any amount of good damage, like, I'm just saying there's a trout who might like that. There's a certain little fish that we know of that might appreciate an ability like that. I'm just saying. And also collects pickups, by the way. Oh, wait. Wait, wait, wait. Wait a minute. Wait. It collects pickups. And is a damage dealing ability. Yo, wait. Wait, chat, hold on. Chat, hold on. This might be real. This might be real Trout hours. This might be real Trout hours, chat. Trout population might see a boom. Yeah, that's whatever. I think part of it is that, like, I know that so a lot of people like Railjack, but I genuinely think that oops, that was weird. I know, but I genuinely think that, like, people who enjoy Railjack and have content for it are kind of in the minority. Is my take on that. And I think that DE is well aware of this and made it to where everyone could kind of do the new content even if they haven't invested in Railjack, because they realize a lot of people don't fucking like Railjack and don't have investment in it and don't fucking care. Why am I using this? I'm the only one who hasn't, like, died. I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't, like, died horribly. Ouchies. There we go. Let's go save the guy. Make sure that he gets up here. How did that Noko die? I don't fucking know. Bad at the game. I think it might have been the guy who was having issues earlier, who was kind of bugging out. Why is he all the way over here, Jesus? No man left behind. There, you fucking wanker. Ah, damn it, I was trying to save him.
Oh, well.
Is they released him with Tax on Prime? No, like, real talk, though, I don't even like Styanax, and I think Styanax Prime might have one of the best Prime designs in the entire fucking game. Styanax Prime is immaculate. Like, just flat out. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Jade loadout. Oh, that can stay. Yeah, no, Styanax Prime, absolutely gorgeous. Love it, 10 out of 10. Yeah, the thing about Incarnons is the real thing I actually care about. I think the thing that I care more about is the weapons. No, I'm getting my conversations mixed up. For Incarnon, Vectis Incarnon, I think the thing that I care more about is the direct stat boosts that it is going to get. That's going to be really, really nice to have. Yeah. Again, like I said, I really don't care about a lot of the weapons that got revealed. Like the Stog is cool. Like, haha, meme weapon. Whatever. But, like, I'm not actually going to use it, most likely. Like I said, the only thing I really do care about is the Vectis. And it's like, I just think that the base stat boosts that you get from Incarnons is, like, more than sufficient enough for me a lot of the times. Like, for me, the entire wave with the Vectis is kind of a dud, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I just don't care. So I'm hoping that the Tigress Prime is a lot better with what's coming with it, because that's the one nice thing about not getting the Tigress Prime now, is that we will get 4 other Incarnons with it. Because if we got both in the same wave, well, it's like, okay, that's just like one Incarnon wave, there we go. And banger as it may be. But with the Tigress Prime, Tigress getting an Incarnon, that means we get a whole other 4 new ones guaranteed to come with it. So that's going to be nice. And that one, the base stat boosts matter a lot more, I think. Because the problem is that this Tigress's stats these days just don't really cut it anymore. This guy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's really gonna be what it's about. I'm betting. Yeah, Vectus and Tigress kind of both hit that role very similarly. All right, the other big thing that I guess we have to talk about is the new what was it? Augments that we're getting. We actually got to see Dante and Flare. Flare, I don't fucking care. Flare becomes Overguard slop like Frost and Ember do. Big whoop. Congratulations, Flare, you don't suck anymore. You are now the bear standard of the game. Congratulations. You have an Incarnate and you have a Source of Overguard. You are not shit anymore. You barely outclass Warframes from, like, 2015. I'm so proud of them. Yeah, it's like... It just kind of feels like a way to it almost feels like a cop-out, almost, in a sense. I don't know. It's just like, okay, Big Whoop, you can do this thing now. That makes you, like, baseline good. The other one, the Dante one, is, like, the most safe and inoffensive thing I've ever seen in an augment. Like... I don't know what to make of Dante's, augment. It basically feels like it trades a mod on his book or a mod on his, like, Warframe kit, really. Yeah. I hope that Noko and Kome are interesting, because Kome has a lot of potential. Kome could definitely use, like, a good augment of any variety. Whether it be for survivability... Oh, you know what? Imagine it's for her subsume, right? Chat, riddle me this. What if it's for her fucking subsume? And then we suddenly get a really banger defensive subsume that we've been, like, always been needing. Because, like, Kome subsume was already really, really fucking good, so imagine the augment is for that. I think that would be really fucked up and crazy. Noko is also interesting because it's like... What do you do, right? What do you do with it? Because, like, as far as I'm aware, Noko is already, like, pretty good. Like, he's in a decent spot. wasn't the most needing of some augment or anything. So it'll be interesting to see what they pull out of their ass for that one. I mean, we still have, like, almost over 2 weeks until this fucking update comes out. Jesus Christ. And they still did not show the fucking Nidus rework. Which is like, I guess I'll just kill myself, you know? We still have to just speculate on that. Again, we've had that conversation about augments becoming base kit, because it basically kind of opens a Pandora's box where... because I think one of the things that people realize is that, augments are basically DE's way of taking away a mod slot from you. If they deem a Warframe in an actual functional state would be a little bit too strong. Because that's basically what it is, and I don't think a lot of people conceptualize it. With these so-called Band-Aid augments that have been so common as of late, a lot of people I don't think realize why they are made and why they are intentionally, continually made, even though the community kind of doesn't seem to like them. I think that they actually serve a different purpose than what people realize. And that purpose is taking away a mod slot from a Warframe that DE wants to take away a mod slot from, right? So, this is a bit of a complex idea, but the best way to describe it is, say you take, any given frame that has a quote-unquote Band-Aid augment, right? And you make that part of base kit. Augment is gone, make it part of base kit. Right? It's like, okay, this mandatory augment that you now have to put on your build is now part of base kit, and now suddenly that is an 8th mod slot that you have open to put whatever you want in. And there's a lot you can do with a single mod slot, I think. There's a lot you can do, and like, the difference between 7 and 8 mod slots when you're trying to do something very particular with a build is very noticeable. I think Corvex, for example, Corvex's 4 augment is, I think, a very, very good example of this. Although Corvex's 4 can work without the augment, I think it is just objectively better with. But if you take that away and then you give him an extra mod slot, he really does need that mod space. So giving him that space and then letting him keep his ability functioning as is does get pretty strong, I would say. Like, I would say that is something that a lot of people don't consider. Now, it's like, do I personally think that this is a correct form of game design? Not necessarily, but I think I am trying to give, a devil's advocate a different perspective on why these augments are always made the way that they are, right? And I really do think that mod space is kind of this underthought about aspect when building Warframes. And, like, people don't realize that, oh, by having an essential augment for a Warframe, you take away a mod slot, and I think that's almost intentional, right? Because we see these Warframes, they come out, they're missing, like, that one linchpin for their ability, and then they get that in the form of an augment, right? And then that augment fixes their kit or whatever, and now they are down a mod slot. Usually it's very shortly after they come out that tends to happen. And like I said, I just think it's intentional at this point, considering how patternistic it is. And this is kind of my reasoning for why that pattern exists, is because they want to control the amount of mod slots each individual Warframe has. Because I think if they took a Warframe and they said, okay, by default, it's just going to have 7 mod slots, I don't think the community would like that. I think they would like it infinitely less than what we have currently in the system. Right? I think that like that being the alternative to controlling the amount of slots that Warframe has for mods would just be completely inconsolable by the community, and I don't think that they would like that. And it's one of those things where it's like, how much does a single mod slot matter in the grand scheme of things? And like you would argue, it's like, oh, it really doesn't make that much of a difference in practice. But I think it is partially the principle of like trying to keep the curve of power creep somewhat in check. And I think that that is actually fine. I think that to kind of limit how fast power creep can ramp up in the game by, you know, making essential augments and by proxy taking away mod slots from newer warframes who already have like really good base kits sometimes. I think that that's honestly not a big deal. And like that is okay if that is the reason. If they're just doing it because like there is the alternative to this where it's like they're just lazy and they're not trying to buff warframes in weird ways. And they find that making augments is the alternative to like actually buffing the direct kits of frames. I think that that is like that's just kind of dumb. But I have a little bit more faith in them than that. Like I said, I'd like to think that augments are designed the way they are for a reason. I really do think it boils down to mod capacity. Because, like, the augments themselves are always very low capacity. They never really, like, get in your way, right? So it's never, like, really an issue to fit them on the build. It's a matter of fitting the amount of mods on your build that you need. Yeah, again, like I said, there are other augments out there that are like, oh, this is an augment, right? Where it does fundamentally change how the ability works. And that is, I guess, the original, I guess, quote-unquote, definition slash use case of what an augment is. And I think that that is... Like, that's also fine. Like, I think that those should exist as well. But I think that augments as a secondary form of Warframe checks and balancing is not entirely invalid. But again, like I said, this is all very hypothetical speech, essentially. Like, I could be completely wrong in this. None of what I could be saying actually has any bearing on how they decide to make augments or why they decide to make them the way that they do. I am even then, I am actually leaning on more of the fact that it is a faster way to buff a given warframe than to actually go in and hardwire change the abilities. Because slapping an augment requires so much less R&D than, like, changing the Warframe's base ability kit at its core. Like, again, especially if anyone has watched the Devstream option where they basically showcased the development process of Arcanes, which was a very interesting watch, by the way. If anyone has not watched it, I would go and I would look at the dev stream where they showed that off. I don't remember. It was specifically Caliban's augment, his Razor Gyre augment that he got, that fully kind of that they gave like a development demonstration of making that augment. And it kind of it really does give a lot of insight to how a lot of these augments are created and visually work. So if you have not watched that dev stream, I would go and find it. I don't remember the exact number, but highly, highly recommend going and looking at that. And now, like I said, there's the other side of the argument where, you know, well, what if we do start to make a bunch of augments-based kit, right? Well, it's like, augments need to still exist, right? We can't just take every augment and just make it some option that you throw on the Warframe, you know? It's like I think there are a lot of augments out there that warrant being mods, because they do change the ability to enough where it's like, oh, this might not be the preferable way that you want to use the ability. And then it becomes the question of, okay, well, what augments deserve to be added to base kit versus what augments stay as augments, right? Like, you bring up that conversation, and that is a very I would say that that's a very dangerous conversation to have, because I feel like no matter what you do, you're going to wind up kind of pissing someone off, so to speak. Like, it's like, okay, well, this becomes augment. It's like, okay, well, why didn't my frame get X, Y, and Z augment made into their base kit? You know, it feels like it brings up a lot of that rhetoric. And I think that that's not a conversation that they want to have. Also, I'm requeuing. This is horrible ping. And it's like, even if, again, quote unquote, easy to tell, it still raises the question, is that somewhere down the line, someone has to decide, you know? Someone has to make the choice. And it is like they would have to make an official choice, and they would have to acknowledge the problem as such, right? Like, that's I think the other big step that I think a lot of people don't think about is they would have to acknowledge the problem, essentially. And like, that's just, again, that's just a whole can of worms, right? Because if they don't acknowledge the problem, like, you know, there's no war in Ba Sing Se. Like, why do we have to address it, right? Address this problem that we don't think exists. And then, therefore, players can't bitch about, like, oh, why haven't you addressed this? And why have you left this as is, even though you know it exists? Like, so they can just feign ignorance and say that they don't know it exists. And now they don't have to, like, worry about having to answer for it. Which is why I think part of why this video exists, because it's all speculation. That's all we can do is speculate about this sort of thing. There we go, this is a lot better. Oh, permanent injury. Oh, damn it, Bobby! Now we gotta requeue again, because I need to go Dante for this, because fuck this. But yeah, no, that's kind of all I have to say about that, but I think that is... Again, it's not that I don't trust Pablo, it's that it just kind of opens up this, like, completely new avenue of, like, bitching and whining, right? Where it's like, nobody is going to be happy. Because it's like, gee, Billy, why does mom let you get to have, right? Like, it opens that up for, like, ad eternity, infinity. And it's like, oh, well, if DE says, like, oh, this is our choice and this is why we made it, people are always going to try to find a way to find fault in that and make it unjustified and make it sound stupid. Even though I'm sure that there is legitimate game design testing and reasoning behind it. It's just kind of a scenario where nobody wins, I think. I really don't think anyone quite wins in that. Oh great, host migration. My favorite. God, I just want to start my fucking weekly, please. God damn it. Yeah, also, again, back to, augments, though. Speaking of, Dante's augment, like I said, it just feels like the safest fucking thing ever. Like, I'm sure like I said, it basically just trades one mod slot on his book for a mod slot on the Warframe itself, which, again, it's just like whatever. Like, I don't know. I would feel like I would really have to like use it and see if it feels different enough to like warrant using. If like the projectile feels better. Thing. So we have until June 17th to see what this whole dick is about, so I'm personally really curious to see. Oh. Oh, is there anything in the dev stream that we haven't talked about at length yet? I don't think there is. I said not getting to see Nidus's rework still really fucking sucks. And this was the last dev stream before TennoCon, right? If memory serves. Also, I'm pretty sure that besides the two that we know of, aren't we gonna get more arcanes in the new update as well? Besides what we've seen? Because we only saw two of them, so I'm really curious to know if they said that there's going to be more than that. That's survival out of the way. Need to go put down my silly little guy. Oh hey, I got a Nightwave thing for doing that. Magical. I love the flooring in here. Wait, how is that down there? Here. What's the other weapon that Styanax Prime is getting? We have the Athadai Prime. What's the other one that he's getting? I don't think I ever quite caught that. Yes, the update does look promising. We have been yapping about the dev stream thus far. I'm still sad that we didn't get to see the Nidus rework. That really sucked. Because I really wanted to see how his abilities all go, but we'll see on the 17th, I guess. And hey, it's not like the last of the month like it normally is, so I mean, that's pretty good. Only partway through the month is acceptable. What do you think of the new Warframe? I think it is, it's one that I really have to see in action. I'm more interested in how its helmet will work, more than anything. That's really what I'm looking forward to seeing is the helmet, because that could affect the trout population, and that is what I'm most hopeful to see. Is to see Limbo kind of get something out of it. Oh, come on. I had no time to react to that. Are we dead ass? That was some bullshit. That was on to film. You can see that. That was bullshit. Who fucking knows? There's only so many Warframes they can go back and mess with. I feel. And I feel like Pablo's gonna go avoid Limbo as long as he can, and avoid Chroma as long as he can. So, like, I don't know, maybe Equinox? If I had to put money on it, considering the relevancy. Like I said, we have a list. We have Equinox, we have Limbo, we have Chroma. What are some other Warframes that actually need reworks at this point, chat? Like the big name ones that like everyone probably wants. There's Limbo, Chroma, Equinox. Nidus is getting his, so that's not really... Banshee. Banshee's a good one. That's one that I feel like Banshee's pretty safe. I know people want Ember to stop sucking balls. I don't know about that one. I feel like Ember has been reworked like 17 times already. I don't know. I feel like Ember isn't very likely, all things considered. I would say Frost, but he just got his kind of whole thing redone recently, so I don't think Frost is going to get touched at any point soon. Yeah, that's a tough one. I could see Mirage actually getting a little bit of help. Although Mirage, it really isn't that bad of a spot, if you think about it. Yeah, like I said, again, he's stated before that he wants to avoid Limbo at all costs. Which is unfortunate, chat, but, you know, trout populations make do. The trout population makes do. We will live on. Probably a retouch. Although I would like his... Like, realistically, I would really like his 3 to just be a different fucking ability. Like, I just think his 3 fucking sucks. I think the augment for it is not nearly as good as people give it credit for. I just don't think it's kind of a conversation worth messing with, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what I would want it to change to, but just his 3 just feels like such a redundancy to, like, the way that his kit works. Like, oh, you want to keep them in the Rift, then just fucking rebanish them with 4 or 1. Like, why do we need a button that keeps them in the Rift? Like, okay, I guess if they float outside of your bubble, like, sure. I guess. I guess. I don't know. It just seems like such a redundancy in the whole frame. And also the obvious thing that I would like I guess the better thing is like what I would want change is, like I said, make his 3 a different ability, give him vacuum while in the Rift. Give him some way to take advantage of being in the Rift more than just having his damage reduction, because that's not really cutting it anymore. He needs a little bit more than that. The thing is that, like, his kit is actually pretty solid. Like, from a conceptual standpoint, like, all of his abilities work, and they do what they're supposed to do. And they do it well. It's just the problem that what Limbo does is innately, is just, it doesn't keep up with the modern game anymore. Is really the problem. And there's not really much working around that either. Let's take Calervo out for a ride. How about that? I don't know. Is it really worth doing this week? Doesn't look like it. What we can do instead, though, we can do some Uviri. What that shit? Yeah, I would want his 3 changed. Give him vacuum while he is in his he is in the Rift. I think that's really my big want for him is vacuum while in the Rift. More than any other piece. Wow, I kind of hate all of these options, actually. Zaku makes me want to gouge my eyes out. Oh, Lex Prime, beautiful. Ooh, that's a tough one. Grim Armory is pretty good. You don't remember how to fucking play Zaku. I know it was some bullshit. I don't know, maybe another thing I would change is make, Yeah, Zaku's just run around and hit shit with your fucking 2. Cause that shit's real good. Auto turns be ballin'. You know, something I was gonna say for Limbo is like, oh, maybe have enemies in the rift like have a damage reduction applied to them, or damage vulnerability applied to them, maybe. But again, like I said, I think that that would really come down to allowing him to cast abilities cross rift. First of all, and also the thing is that it's like the priming playstyle is just so not really worth it. But no, again, I think the number one thing for him is to just give him Vacuum Well and Rift, make his 3 different. Have it just do fucking anything else. Literally, please, literally, God, anything else. Begging you. And this really is just autopilot the Warframe. Good lord. You just fucking run around like this shit. Yeah, Banshee does sound pretty likely, all things considered. I'm very much... I very likely can see Banshee being on the next up to get just literally anything. Because I think one of Banshee's biggest problems right now is that they just have no form of self-defense. And also, her 4 is, like, irreversibly fucked beyond reason. Because you cannot buff her 4, because then it just becomes the same problem that it used to be. So, like, honestly, I think, realistically, I can see her entire 4th ability being changed. I think that that's the most likely outcome. Sure, man. Come on, give me energy orbs. Give me energy orbs. There we go. That's what we need to see. I love having an auto turret. What's her? One's her Sonic Boom, which is like dog shit, I'm pretty sure. She has Sonar and Silence. And Sonar doesn't work where it should work. In pretty much every single use case possible. Because God forbid a frame do what it is designed to do. Ooh, ability efficiency is nice. Search and destroy, search and destroy. More power strength. The fuck is that shit? What ability was that I was seeing? That was weird. You know, I think the real thing I'm more interested about is the quests that we're getting. I wanna know about that shit. I wanna know how that came to be. I could see Chroma next. Because I really don't feel like there's a reason he's avoiding Chroma, but he does have valid reason to avoid Limbo. The Limbo is truly in a state of limbo. What the fuck is that ability, chat? What is this? Chat, what ability is this? What is this? Like, I actually have no idea. What was that? What the fuck am I looking at? That does not look like Sevagoth's normal ability. Give me something good here. Here's some Bonanza. Ivara being looked at, I know that would make a certain someone very happy. That is one that could. I could see them messing with, yeah. Yeah, Zaku can't really do much to bosses. Unfortunately. You know, I could see them looking at Excalibur or Mag, actually. Now that I think about it, like... Less so Mag, but I definitely could see them, like, really overhauling Excal. Like... I don't think anyone would complain if they reworked him. And, like, because, like, what the fuck is Radial Javelin doing? Like, let's be real with ourselves. What the fuck are... when was the last time somebody used Blind or Javelin? Like... Let's be real. Let's be real here. I feel like you use Slash Dash and you use his 4 and, like, that's it. That's the whole Warframe at this stage. I do wish that Frost would have gotten a little bit more, because realistically, 2 of his 3 abilities are just still dog shit. Oh, cheat death, great. That's what I needed to see. Pew pew pew, motherfucker. But even with like just being brain dead as fuck, Zaku was top DPSing. That's kind of comical. Ooh, you know what? You know what, chat? I think Necros is the one up next, really. I think Necros is a really good contender, actually. I think people would be really happy about a rework for him. Yeah, nobody thinks about that because it's like, okay, what is this ability that has the stars and like the fucking swirly tornado? Like, what ability is that? And Necros is a really good, like, consideration. I could maybe see Harrow. I think that Harrow is one that is aged quite poorly. I could really see Harrow getting some sort of rework. Like, his abilities are okay, but he's kind of hard to justify. Like, running. That guy's just, like, dead. Marauder's Nerve, that's a good one. That's very needed. Yeah, Harrow and Necros are really good options. Equinox is obviously up there. Chroma, Limbo, Banshee. I'd like to see Atlas get more, but I don't think he will. Because, I mean, Atlas has only, like, one good ability, 1.5 good abilities, but that one good ability is so fucking busted, it's comical. And basically does everything in the kitchen sink that it's like, he doesn't eat it. Who else really, really wants a rework? You know, Ureli is, like... Ureli doesn't feel that old, but I genuinely do think that Ureli is actually one of those Warframes that's newer, but could still use, like... I feel like Ureli, what Ureli needs is, like, from from the bottom up rework, I think. Like, I think Ureli needs an overhaul. Because she's just so clunky. So many augments, so much just bullshit that she has to deal with. Like, you know, I think, like, genuinely, Ureli has one of the most clunky kits in the game at this point. Which is really sad. But that's one I would, like... I would definitely put up there for on the rework block as a bit more of a controversial take, if you will. Yes, you have a good night, Rack. Rest well. See where we're at with this anyway. Let's see here. And I know it's quite early for us to stop, but I think we've kind of gotten through everything we've needed to get through this week. I think it's perfectly fine to cut it out early here. So I will bid you all a good night, and we will all be waiting for the update together.